Have you ever had someone damage your game right in front of you?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, it happens all the time.
Like completely just disrespect you, like maybe like wipe salt off the table with your cards, maybe? You ever do that? Huh?
You sound like you're speaking from experience. Oh no,
No
well,
example is not specific when it comes to damaging your game.
yeah, absolutely. I was playing a game with a friend. This was somewhat recently, within the past 2 years, and it's a big game. It was a Kickstarter game. You can't really, get it anymore with all the same components.
Wow,
And right at the end of the game,
really?
yeah, just he had a full glass of water, and just right at the end, right before we were about to score, so everything was on the table.
Oh
He
no.
just tips the whole
Oh
glass of water
no.
over, and it covers the board, it covers the
Oh
cards,
my
it
God.
covers the player boards,
What did you
just
do?
everything.
What did you do?
I got a towel.
Towel
Yeah,
immediately?
immediately dapped everything up, and he was very apologetic. He said, "Oh, I'm
Of
so
course, yeah.
sorry." And
Yeah.
just, of course, he's like, and he was like, "I'll buy this. I'll buy everything again." I'm like, "Well, you can't. I mean, it's hard to it's
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
acquire these things, right?" The game
Yeah.
actually ended up being okay.
Okay.
hmm
What game do you remember? And do
Um,
you still have it?
yeah, it was Scythe, and
Oh.
yeah, and yes, I still have it. I once dropped an entire Frappuccino from Starbucks into the box of Agricola.
Oh my God.
Just and all the components were in there.
No.
Yeah, and the Frappuccino, fell open and it just covered everything in frap.
Yuck.
Yeah.
But that's not too hard to replace. Agricola's like
Oh
dime a
yeah.
dozen.
I mean, I didn't replace it. My copy of Agricola is
Oh,
just
you
frappy
just
now.
love it. You open it up. You're like, I wanna I wanna smell coffee when I play, and you
Yeah,
just let's play Agricola.
caramel
There
macchiato
you go.
Agricola. It's really hard to damage something in a way that's like makes it unplayable.
Right, you can get by.
Yeah.
You can get by with with, with a cappuccino game.
Yeah, with a Frappuccino Agricola.
Sure, sure. But do you want to? That's the real question.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever had something like this happen to you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a funny story actually. I yeah, recently purchased Outlive and I brought it to game night and I was like, okay, we're gonna play this. And I laid it out on the table and
Unfortunately, the board
and
was a little bit warped, wasn't it?
it was warped.
Like it's just a
It had
smidge,
a little
a
bit,
little
but I
bit.
was like,
Yeah.
like we could
Mhm.
just tap it a little bit. It's
Sure.
fine.
Yeah.
I had a
hmm
friend who he decided, it's funny, he was like, I can bend it. I could fix this. I could fix this.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do it all the time.
Do it all the time.
Do it all the time. So he flips the board over and mind you, we're at a game store where it's like 50 square feet by 50 by 50. This is a lot large
Yeah.
square footage
Yeah, it's
room.
a large room.
And we usually get like 50 people in there and it's so loud. But for whatever reason, this one moment was dead silent. And he flips the board over and just ever so slightly, and I swear to you, it was the loudest snap I've ever heard. This guy, forget Thanos, this guy was snapping away half the board games in the entire world with that one snap. Snap!
Uh,
And yeah, it was all over.
I was at that table.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I was there. I heard that snap, and I started cracking up. I had to leave. I had to recuse myself, get out of that room because I felt bad,
Oh
but it
man.
was so funny because he was so genuine.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I can fix
I can
this.
fix this.
Snap. And then the board game is just in
Yeah,
pieces,
yeah.
and you're both just sitting there going,
The poor guy just sat there in defeat with two pieces of cardboard in his hand. Like, oh man.
He made it right, didn't he?
He
He
did. Yeah, yeah.
procured another board
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
you.
Made everything right. We're good to go. Anyway, this is welcome. We, stroke.
Ah!
Welcome to the Missing Component. My name is Richard,
My name's Jake.
and we are going head first into the top 10. This is the cream of the crop.
Yes, this is 10 to 1.
10 to
10 to
1.
1. These are
The best of the best.
our favorite games
All time.
of all time. If you haven't seen the other two videos, 30 through 21 and
Yeah,
20 through 11.
yeah. The numbers.
The numbers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You go watch those
Go
because
watch
those
it.
are excellent.
So you actually told me once that your tens,
So,
your tens aren't you. Your nines are actually what make you you. Is that right?
okay, yeah. So what I think about this is like your top 10 games are your top 10 because they're so personal, right? These games
Okay.
are not games that I think I would recommend to everyone. These are games that I like for very specific and personal reasons.
Okay.
Um, and that will become clear as we sort of talk about the games and get into the list.
Right.
Um, but when people ask me to recommend games for them, I don't necessarily jump to my top 10 list, right? Because these
Okay.
games are games that I find are fit me in a specific way,
Right.
right?
So are these your 10 out of 10 games or are these your 9 out of 10 games?
These are games that are all of these games are either 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if we're rating them on a board game geek scale, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. These are probably all 10 out of 10s for me as well.
Mhm.
Should we just get into it?
I think so. I think
Cut in the back.
yeah, I think who goes first?
I do, sir,
Okay, so I
because
actually
you're the VIP. All right.
okay.
My number 10
Okay.
of all time.
Yes.
This is the worst of the best. Is a trading game. It's called Sidereal Confluence
Oh, I was wondering where this was
in
going
the
to show
Elysium
up.
sector. Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge game where there's a bunch of trading, but you can play up to 9 players and everything is just chaotic. I think I realized this game existed when I watched a shut up and sit down video
Oh, sure.
and their review was so good. I was like, I gotta get this. And the new copy came out.
Oh, yeah.
So there was like an
Yeah.
older version, a new
Much more attractive edition.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta get that. And I was able to play with 8 people, and it's just utter chaos all over the table. But it's so fun with all the different moving parts, and you're just shouting across the table, trying to get your trades in because once those cubes are gone, that's it. And they're just total chaos, and I love it. I love
Yeah.
everything about it.
I played this one a couple of times. Might be a little bit too chaotic for me,
Yeah,
but it's definitely a unique game.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely that experience.
I kind of like it. It's similar to like rolling dice to kind of even the playing field across the board.
Hmm.
This is where you can't think about what's good for you. You just have to make a trade. Just make a trade now because otherwise those cubes are going to be gone
Sure. Yeah.
and you're going to be holding garbage
You
stuff you
don't want to be
can't
left
use.
holding the bag.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to be holding your bag.
Hmm.
So that's my number 10. Sidereal Confluence, trading and exploitation. No, something. And the Elysium Quadrant. There you go.
Creating an Elysium Quadrant. There you
There
go.
it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Was that on your list? Did you guess that?
Oh yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
you love this game. Where's it going to show
there it
up?
is.
Yep. Hmm.
Number 10.
Um, my number 10 is a little card game. Produced by Simon.
Wow.
This is The Grizzled. This is The Grizzled.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this is a cooperative card game. It's pretty unique in its field in that you have a deck of cards and everyone has a hand of cards. And you win the game if everyone plays all the cards from their hand
Yeah.
and plays all the cards from the deck.
Wow. I have never seen you play this.
Really? Oh no, yeah. I try and get it to the table. It's not really everyone's cup of tea, but
Yeah.
it's a really interesting one for me because of sort of how the game is played. Um, you're constantly playing these cards out on the table, and they're all bad, and you're trying not to have three of the same bad symbols.
Hmm.
You're also playing negative effects on yourself that are called like hard knocks. And the theme of the game is that you're trying to survive World War One as a group of friends, right?
Okay.
But it has this really interesting effect of when you get down to the end of it, it starts to become a slog where you're constantly adding cards back into the deck and like trying to thin it out, but then more get added and more get thinned out, and you're trying to clear out that deck before the end of the game happens and you all lose. And then even finally, if you do manage to empty out that deck and empty out your hands and you're winners and you go
Okay.
home, you're all kind of still stuck with like these hard knocks in front of you. So
Hmm.
it tells an interesting story of sure you made it home,
Yeah.
but like John is afraid of the rain and Michael
Wow.
still hears artillery when he sleeps at night.
Wow. Yeah, I heard it's pretty brutal.
It
It's
is.
like dark,
It's a very dark themed game for
dark, aka real life.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
you like this game because it's story oriented. You feel like connected
Oh,
to the
yeah.
story
Tells a
very.
great story.
Yeah.
And I love the art. It's a really easy game to play, cooperative, tiny
Nice.
card game,
The
tight
Grizzled.
package. Yeah, the Grizzled. Check it out.
Love it. Yeah. Gotta write it on my list again. Another one gotta play with you. My number nine is a big civilization game that has a wonderful app, and I'd rather play it on the app. This is called Through the Ages,
Oh, okay. All right.
a new story of civilization,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. And yeah, yeah. So going back to I don't know, like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, we had a small group that would play this like tournaments, mini tournaments online.
Oh, neat.
And CGE actually has this website you can go to set up tournaments. And yeah, we played tournament after tournament after tournament, just kept playing and it's round robin, so you're playing everybody. And we were able to get, I don't know, about 10, 12, maybe 15 other guys. So each season kind of grew
Mm.
incrementally. And but yeah, I love how you're able to be creative with your turns and have a bunch of different actions and play them in different ways and be able to get to where you need to go with that with but you have to be creative while doing it. And yeah, so like someone could be warring with you and you can find a tactic card that will increase your war power,
Hmm.
war strength
Yeah.
to like double the strength, and it comes out completely unexpected and yeah, I love that. I love that about that game. So yeah, that's my have you played that?
Yeah, so this
You
is
you played the
one.
first version. Have you played the second version?
No, the new Story of Civilization I haven't
Yeah.
played. I've only played the original one from the
Okay.
kind of the smaller box.
Yeah.
Yeah. My experience with that is, yeah, it's definitely one that you can get better at. I think the first time I played, I just couldn't develop any of the science, so I was really stuck
Mm.
building like one thing a turn. So by the, third phase when everyone's supposed to be like in modern day,
Yeah.
I was like, well, I have pikemen
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
swords.
Yeah. You definitely can't fall behind on war for sure.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, we should get this going again. Maybe it gets a couple of people in the tournaments. That'd be fun.
Sure, yeah.
That's my number nine, Through the Ages. New story.
It's a good one. I knew you liked that one for sure. Um, my number nine is similar actually.
Okay.
Similar actually. So this is
Civ
another card game.
Civilization style.
Civilization-ish game.
Card game.
The
Okay.
card game.
Okay.
This is Glory to Rome.
Ah ha ha.
Yes. Carl Chudik design.
There we go.
Yeah, so in Glory to Rome, what you're doing is it has this classic mechanism of on your turn, you play a card and it's an action, and then everyone else around the table can follow that action or just draw cards. And if they follow that action, they get the same action as you and they have to play the same card as you. And the actions can be different things from starting buildings, gathering resources, playing cards that are going to give you more actions down the line. And essentially, what you're doing, you're trying to build these buildings that give you special abilities or special actions in an attempt to try and win the game. Um, there's a lot of different combos in this game. I love trying to find different combos every game where, oh, this building works with this building, or this building helps me build into this building, which is
Mm.
going to end the game early and help me be a winner that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, really neat, uh, tight design. If you like complex card games that are a little bit more heady, this is definitely one of those types of games.
Yeah, this one you have to play multiple times to the first time you're just gonna get stomped.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
it
like that.
rewards kind of knowing a little bit about the
The
makeup of the
deck.
deck. Yeah.
But it's all a deck of cards, right? It's like
The entire
50
game is a deck
cards,
of cards. Yeah, it's like 100 cards in this deck,
100 cards.
and you're just drawing the deck, and there's duplicates, and there's all of the cards. The cards have one of my favorite mechanisms, which is multi-use cards. So the cards can be resources, they can be buildings, they can be actions, and they can also be followers that help you take more actions later in the game.
Yeah,
So all different, every
very
card is,
cool.
many things.
Cool. My Number eight.
Number 8.
Number eight. This is a game I played maybe a few times. It's a hidden movement game, one versus many. This is a game called Mind Management.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I played it a handful of times because it has like an app that runs the main bad guy or called a recruiter. And so you're able to do kind of everything solo. And so I played it that way. So I'm able to learn the game. I do this a lot with games where I'm trying to learn the game. So I'll just play it two-handed. And that way I'm not like fumbling through the rules when I come to game night.
Hmm.
And so I've played this a handful of times by myself with my wife, and then a few times at the game shop. And I just the creativity behind the design is really fun. And I mean, I've only played the first scenario, but if you lose, it gets easier, and if you win, it gets harder. And so it's got all these mechanisms, and you can replay it over and over. So it's not like a campaign that you don't come back to. You can actually play it multiple
Okay.
times.
Interesting. Yeah.
So have you played this?
No, no. So hidden movement games are a little hit or miss for me. I
Okay.
either really like them or they're kind of just not my thing. So
Yeah.
I got to try this one out.
Have you played Scotland Yard?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's like Scotland Yard, but this one actually uses deduction, and they leave behind clues for you to find and figure out, so you're able to deduct where they're at.
Okay. And you're
Yeah,
trying to find the person?
you're
Is
trying to
that right?
find the
Okay.
person. Yeah. So yeah, that's mind management, and my number eight.
That's a neat
That's a
one.
fun one.
I didn't know you liked that one that much.
Yeah,
Okay, neat.
I
That's
thought it
cool.
was pretty more creative than a lot of the other ones on my list, so it beats them out.
Let's
You,
see.
you know a game is good when at the end you stand up and yeah, high five. Yes, we got it.
Oh, I
We got
yes. I
him.
love those stand-up moments in games, right? Um, you feel so bad for the one person though, if you're just the one versus many.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That's why we play
Yeah.
on the with the app. We had the app.
Then the
We're
one
gonna get
person is
him.
just like, I did terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number 8. This is one that we've played together. This was a while ago.
Okay.
We played with a couple of the expansions, although I'm a fan of just the base games, I think is very good.
Hmm.
This is Five Tribes.
What's your favorite part? What's your favorite meeple color? Forget what they're called.
Oh, I
Tribesman.
love using an assassin as
Assassin.
the last person, being able to claim that tile and then assassinating somebody else and claiming that tile
Yeah,
too.
double
Okay,
double
across the
tile
board.
thing.
Yes, yeah, that's a lot of fun. This is when I'm sort of surprised that more games don't use this man column mechanism,
Hmm.
right? It's in a few games here and
Yeah.
there, but that sort of picking up and dropping things off, that cadence of like trying not to set up other people for really good moves, while also trying to find a really good move for you on the board, sussing out, is this move better than that move? Is all a really interesting structure. And, that kind of really, really tickles my brain.
Five tribes.
Five Tribes.
Good pick.
Yep, that is my number 8.
I like it though. My number seven is a game I played once with you guys, and then a handful of times double-handed.
Okay.
It's a very pretty game. I first saw it at Dice Tower West last year. It's a
Ooh.
game called Federations.
Okay, yeah.
Is it Federations? It's Federation, one Federation.
Federation.
Yeah, this is like a galactic EU where you're trying to earn relevancy through peace, right? And so you're doing all these actions on a board that has this grid, and that grid right
Mm,
there with the chips that have dual sides.
mm,
So it's like your cards that have dual uses or multi-use cards, right?
mhm.
It's got multi-use chips.
Sure.
And so whether you place it on a bidding side or on the funding side will determine what you're going to do during cleanup. And so there's a 3 by 3 grid on two different sides, and whichever side gets the most votes will get enacted. And so it's essentially a bunch of tracks, and at the bottom of each vote is going to score a particular track. So if you're doing really good on the blue, you're going to want the blue track to score. So you're going to put
Okay.
votes for the blue side on one. But if you put it on the funding side, you're contributing toward an end game scoring victory condition where uh, it's 6 or 7 different, completely different scoring opportunities, but it only gets scored if it gets completely funded.
Okay.
And so you're weighing out all these different risks and ideas and strategies. So yeah, this is not a game that has training wheels. You just gotta, like I was saying, but yeah,
So it
this
doesn't
is
get
really fun.
easier on your first
It
play?
does not get
Oh, okay.
easier. Yeah, yeah.
Well, this isn't one I've played, but I do love me some tracks.
Did you
Big
play
fan
this
of
one with
tracks.
me?
No, I haven't played
Oh,
this
you haven't
one.
played this one. It's
No, I
really,
haven't played this
it's
one.
so good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it got
But I love tracks and I love in-game scoring. It sounds like it'd be right up my alley. This is one that looks like the Imperial Senate from Star Wars, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's got
Yeah,
the
that's what
lady
I wanted.
lady on the
Mhm.
front. And yeah, yeah, I seen it at Dice Tower West and I was like, what is this game? I got to know what it is.
Mhm.
But I wasn't going to sit down at the hot games table and try to learn it there. It seemed like pretty complex to
Mhm.
be like, oh, I'm just going to read this rule book for an hour and sit here. So I actually watched a video back in my hotel room and I was
Oh
like,
wow,
oh,
okay.
yes, this is so good. I didn't get a chance to play it then, but I purchased a copy, got it played at home. It's
And it
really good.
made an impression on you.
Yes, it's so good. It's so good. I love it.
All right.
I love colors. That's my number 7
Uh,
Federation.
sounds like a really good pick. This is one that I got to get played. My number 7 is it's another Stonemaier game.
Okay.
And it's a Jamie Stegmaier design.
It can't be this low.
It is Expeditions.
Okay, that's
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So Expeditions, this is a sequel to a game called Scythe, but it's a sequel only in name. So whether you like Scythe or you don't like Scythe, it doesn't matter. This game is completely different.
Okay.
Um, this is a game about exploration, and action selection, where you're moving around this map, exploring different tiles, flipping over the tiles, and sort of discovering the lands above. And as the further north you venture, the more dangerous things get. You're trying to clear out a bunch of corruption in the land and utilize the different actions you can take to sort of boast about what you've done. Oh, I've made it this far, or I've collected this much money, or I have this many followers.
Hmm.
Um, it's a really simple game as far as like the actions you can take. And it has a really cool mechanism where there's 3 actions on your board, and you have a cube that covers one of them. And every turn, you just have to move that cube over an action, and you take the 2 that are visible. Next turn, you have to move it again, and you take the
Yeah.
2 that are visible. So it's a really, really quick cadence. People pick up this game really quickly, and it has another one of those multi-use cards. Cards can be actions you can take, but they can also be used to tuck under your board for special effects. Yeah, this is a really neat one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You play this a lot.
I've played it a fair amount. Yes. Yeah.
Where
Actually,
where have you played it the most?
we set it up at a convention and I sort of sat down and kind of just played this game all day at that convention. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. It was great.
And you hadn't played it before the convention.
No, I think that was the first day I had played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I played it a ton that day.
That's
Hmm.
crazy. Did you learn that, oh, this is a great game. This is in one of my
Yeah.
favorite games of
Yeah,
all time.
absolutely. Because every play was different. Every person I played it with, kind of really enjoyed it and kind of found a different strategy to go down or different things to do. Um, that whole day, I never felt like, okay, I got to play this again. No, it was like, wow, all right, I get to play this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how
Yeah.
you know you like a game.
Yeah, when you don't get tired.
No, you just don't get tired of it. I just wanted to play it all day, and I was lucky enough to be able to do that.
That's awesome.
Yep. So that's Expeditions, my number 7.
7. Okay, my number 6 is a game I've played. It's a campaign game. I think
You've played this.
this is one out of the 2 campaign games that I've actually finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many have you started?
Oh, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, probably a lot. This is called Dead Reckoning,
Oh, okay. Yes, the pirate
the
one.
pirate
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
I don't think they claim it as a 4X, but it does feel like you are exploring.
Hmm.
You're exploring different islands, you're expanding your territory, and you are exterminating each other.
Sure.
I guess it's more attacking. You're not really exterminating. You can't like eliminate a player,
Hmm.
but
But you can beat them
trying
down.
to exploit. Yeah, yeah, and you're exploiting the islands to yeah, gain resources and stuff like that. But it's super fun because like in the campaign, so we played the first campaign, Blood and Thunder, something like that, and you shuffle like these campaign cards into the individual decks,
Hmm.
and you're hoping that they come out because they tell a little bit of the story and you're playing 6 games of this, so you want to be able to experience the story. And halfway through, we were like not getting the cards that we wanted to
Hmm.
come out, and so we're like, let's just eliminate half of the cards that we don't that come with the base game, right? So that we can get to the story stuff.
He's out of here.
And oh, it was so I'm not gonna spoil anything, but it was fun to kind of fight over certain cards and finish the campaign and realize just because someone won a lot of the games
Mhm.
doesn't mean they won the campaign. And
Okay,
so
yeah.
yeah,
Nice little surprise
that
ending
was
there
fun.
for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So we played all 6 of these. It is long. It is longer. I think one game with 4 players took, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours each time. So yeah, it was long. It was fun. Pirates, not really my theme, actually,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed it. It was
Okay.
fun. I can't wait for the giant crate to come in the mail.
This uses the like a card crafting system, right? Where you kind of
Yeah,
make certain actions better by sleeving different cards into the sleeve, right?
exactly. Johnny
Okay, yeah.
Claire,
Hmm.
card crafter.
Yeah.
Yeah, each island has different the card crafter things. So you go to an island, pick the card up, slot it in to one of your
I
cards,
see. Okay.
and you can use as many cards as you want on your turn, but some of them can carry over. And so you're determining, do I want to
Hmm.
be aggressive this turn and play a bunch of cards or play one card so I can have 6 cards next turn or whatever. It's very fun. Very fun. I love the upgrading. I love card crafting. I love deck building, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like a good one. This is another one I have not played. Um, I was sort of around when you were starting that, or when you were finishing up that campaign,
yeah.
so I kind of caught the tail end of it, and everyone seemed like they were really enjoying
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah.
And there's 2 other campaigns still to experience. So
Really? Wow.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's like multiple. Do they kind of bleed into each other, or is it kind of like a fresh start?
I think they're, yeah, 3 different, completely different storylines. So
Neat.
yeah.
All right.
I'm up to playing it again.
There you go.
That's my number 6, Dead Reckoning.
My number six. I think you've played this. I think you have. This is a hidden movement game.
Okay.
This is kind of one of the big hidden movement games. This is Fury of Dracula.
Oh yeah, yeah, Fury.
Yeah, Fury of
Wow.
Dracula. Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay.
third edition is the one that I have,
Okay.
which is about the same as fourth edition, as far as I'm aware.
Better artwork and stuff.
Yeah, better artwork, better miniatures. Just kind of a better laid out board, everything like that. Um,
But you say you don't like hidden movement games.
no, they're hit or miss.
They are.
They're hit or miss.
This one's a hit.
This one's a hit. This one's a hit. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely not a game that I want to play all the time forever, right?
Yeah.
But boy, I really get the itch to play this every once in a while. And you get the right group together.
Hmm.
It kind of requires 5 people.
Hmm.
Um, because you do want one person each to play a hunter, and then you want one person to play Dracula who's running around.
Do you like being Dracula or the hunters?
Oh, I like both.
You
I
do?
think if I had to pick one, I would pick Dracula just because, he's a star of the show. But I like being a hunter too, in that cooperative aspect of like, okay, well, we have to search for like some weapons, right? Oh, I found some silver bullets. Oh, I found a handgun. Oh, I found a holy cross. And then you sort of switch gears to where you're like, all right, where'd Dracula go? Let's go get him.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's
You
go
gotta
get
know. Gotta
him.
keep an eye out.
Yeah. There's definitely that cadence switch, which is a lot of fun. So this game, it tells a really interesting story. It has that long structure where at the beginning of the game, if you run into Dracula, he's gonna beat you up, and you're gonna try and run away. And at the end of the game, you're kind of like, all right, Dracula, come here, and he's gonna try and run away from you, and just
Yeah.
get out a couple more vampires, or like convince a couple more people to come onto his side before the very end of the game.
Nice. I remember it came out on tabletop and we watched that. Oh, do you remember tabletop?
Yeah, tabletop. Yeah,
Tabletop.
yeah. Hmm.
And they had a couple guys on. Oh man, they were like trying to get Dracula. I got Monica into watching tabletop because of
Really?
that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
we,
sure they had a lot of fun with that. I mean,
heck
it
yeah,
is a I mean, the game has so much theme to it. Every card has like an effect, but on the bottom it has like an excerpt from, you know, the Dracula story about like what's going on.
yeah.
Um, you know, there's that whole thing about Dracula doesn't trust technology, so he can't ride trains, right? So there's just a lot going on in this game. Yeah,
Yeah,
lots of theme,
fun.
lots of fun.
I
Yeah.
want to play that with you.
Hey, hey,
Hey, hey,
anytime. Yeah.
hey, put it on the list.
We don't even have to wait till Halloween. That was my number six,
6.
Fury of Dracula.
My number 5 is a campaign game.
Another one.
I have not finished.
Didn't finish
This
this
is a
one.
long. This is a huge game. This is a game called Oathsworn. What makes this game awesome isn't that it's a boss battler.
Cooperative game, right?
This is cooperative
Yeah.
campaign. You're working together, kind of like Gloomhaven. I came from Gloomhaven, played a ton of that. There's two different arcs to the game, right? There's the story part where it's a full game in itself. There's a full story mode where it's not just like you're reading excerpts out of a book. You're making decisions, you're attacking people in the story. And depending on how well you do in the story is how well you're going to start out in the scenario of
Mhm.
fighting the boss and stuff like that. But not only does is it fun to like uncover the mysteries of the story and figure out who you are, who the people are, who this
Mhm.
world is, and what's going on. They make it interesting each and every time to where you're not doing the same thing. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's just it's so good.
No spoilers.
Yeah, each story part I was like more invested.
Because this one looks really big, right? You
Yeah.
look at this one, and my immediate reaction to a game like this is like, that's gonna be big, that's gonna be heavy. There's probably a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you say it's not quite that.
If you're fighting a big monster, right? He's got the card that's what he's going to do on his next turn. And so everyone's doing their actions. And then once we're all done with their actions, then we carry out the card. But we're able to strategize around the card that's face up.
Hmm.
And some of those instructions on the card can be a bit confusing. You just kind of have to like, he turns this way and he goes, does this thing or whatever,
Mm.
and he attacks
Okay.
you. But it's the story is dark. The story is interesting. You need the app to play the game. You don't need
Okay.
it, but it's more enjoyable with the app. They have like a professional voice actor.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
That's pretty
so
neat.
it's so good. Anyway, that's my number 5, Oathsworn.
My number five, not nearly as big of a game as Oathsworn.
Okay.
This is a smaller-ish Euro game, medium-ish weight, that actually utilizes a Mancala mechanism.
What?
I know. I was just talking about how not enough games do this, and here's another one. This one is Gold West.
Okay.
Yeah, Gold West, originally from TMG, and now I think Trick or Treat Studios.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, Trick or Treat Studios.
Cool.
In
Gold
Gold
West.
West, you're a pioneer, and you're sort of mining for gold down by the river in California, and you're kind of plotting out your land, grabbing different minerals, and kind of putting them on your board. But how it works is every round you pick a depot and you grab all the resources from them and man call them upwards one at a time.
Hmm.
And then whatever
Okay.
spills off your board, you can use that round. And if it's sort of wood and stone, you can build better shelter for yourself. But if it's precious metals like silver and gold, you can turn that in for contracts. You can sell it. You can sort of plot out different spaces you want on this Boomtown board that's like endgame scoring. It's very simple. Um, but the way that each of the mechanisms work with each other is very interesting. It has a quick cadence. I mean, you play 10 rounds in and out, you're done. Um, and I love that Mancala mechanism of just like deciding where to place your resources is super important because you put them further down, you get more points. But you put them further up, it's easier to take them all and use them all in one turn.
Right.
Hmm.
I really like this game. I haven't
Yeah.
seen you bring it since that one time, like last year.
Yeah, it's been actually I brought it not too long ago, but I don't know if you were at that game night. You might
Okay.
have been absent.
Oh, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, hmm.
It plays pretty quick, but the man color
It
thing.
was a slightly like unassuming game, right? You
Yeah.
might look at it and you would play it, and this is one that you might not explicitly remember, but this is a game that really scratches a lot of itches for me. It kind of fits into that medium weight Euro that I really like. It's unique in that Mancala thing that I said more games need to do. This is one of those games. Has a little bit of area control, a little bit of end game scoring.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy. I mean, it's quick and it's breezy. I mean, it's in and out in an hour. Yeah, super good.
Yeah, undervalued, underappreciated
Underappreciated
for
game.
sure.
It just got a reprint though,
Oh, did
so
it?
so
Okay.
maybe more people are going to be sort of looking at it. The reprint is very good from Trick or Treat Studios. It has Vincent Dutrait art. Yeah, super nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I wish more people had a chance to play this.
Yeah, hopefully they will in the
Yeah.
future. That was my number five, Gold West. And I just realized we're in the top five now.
Top five.
Yeah,
Okay. Number four. Number
number
four.
four.
I don't number four. Um, I'm super excited to tell everyone
Oh,
about number four.
okay.
I-
I'm excited.
I'm
I'm
like,
excited to hear about number four.
this is a game I do not own. I've played
Okay.
once,
Hmm.
halfway through,
Oh, one of
and
these. Oh no.
it was amazing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're kidding
Okay,
me.
okay, listen, hear me out, okay? I played the app version of this a bajillion
Okay,
times,
you played it
okay?
online.
I
Okay, so you've played
Yeah,
this game, yeah.
played at least 100 hours of
You're
this
talking about you've only played it physically a single
a
time,
single
halfway
time
through.
because
Okay.
it only just came out
Oh,
very recently,
okay.
and you got
New
to get the
one.
deluxe version. This is called Slay the Spire.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
this
Yes,
high on the
this
list,
high.
huh?
I love this game.
Okay, when I hold on,
Uh,
you played the video game. There's not an app version of this game.
the
It's
app is
very
on my
close.
phone. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
same
close.
thing. Steam, whatever, it's everywhere. Yes, I love this game.
Wow. Okay.
It's deck building. It's I like the cooperative part. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I just like getting stuff all the time, like more cards after every fight.
Yes.
Oh, and that was fun. And then turning those coins into artifact
Oh,
things and
yeah.
oh, yeah, I just loved
Super
everything with
rewarding.
this.
Every time you draw those
So
cards, you're like,
rewarding.
"Ooh, I can use this. Oh, I can use
Yeah.
that." Yeah. Hmm.
And then you're not beating up on someone or you're not like deck builder games you get to your goal and you're done. This one you just keep adding more cards and you're fighting like stronger opponents
Hmm.
and you get to see like experience your deck more and more and more and more
Yes. Yeah.
versus yeah like Great Western Trail or Dune Imperium like you play go through your deck maybe once or twice
Sure.
a
Yeah. Oh,
handful of
yeah.
times
Hmm. This
yeah
game you
this
can
one
go through your deck multiple times each combat. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah I
And
love it.
it's a neat in that it's that cooperative deck building aspect. It's not like any other cooperative deck builders, right? So it's got a very unique cadence to it.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, this one's super good. I agree with you. That's
yeah,
great.
I love
Yeah.
love the creativity behind the design. They didn't just take the video game and just re-implemented. They tweaked some stuff and
Yes. Tweaked the
made
board, tweaked
yeah,
for the physical aspects of it, right?
and the
Everything's
cooperative. Yeah,
sort of a different power level, right? But it feels like the video game,
yeah,
right? If you played the video game and you went straight to the board game, you would know how to play.
yeah,
Yeah, you don't even have to
yeah,
teach any rules really.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and when I showed up, I crushed. I was just crushing everything. I'm like, I don't know if this is right, but it feels right.
Hey,
One hit,
if
one hit.
if it works, it's right. There you go. Yeah.
There it is, my number four all time, Slay the Spire 2024.
That half a game, that's the one you played with
That was
me?
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
there you
I
go.
want
Yeah.
that game. I don't have it yet, so
Hey, okay.
if I find a copy, it's
Oh, wow,
mine.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely one of those games, talking about it makes me want to play it,
There
so,
it is.
yeah. Mhm. Excellent pick. Yeah, I totally agree. My number four, not a cooperative game.
Okay.
Eric Lang, Simon.
S- not Bloodborne, not Blood Rage. It's the Rising Sun.
Yes, Rising Sun.
Yeah,
Yes,
Rising
yeah,
Sun.
that's
Yeah,
that's that's my favorite of sort of that trilogy.
yeah,
This one has a is a Japanese themed game where everyone takes sort of a clan of peoples, and you're trying to control as much area of Japan as possible. But you're doing that with a little bit of diplomacy and a lot of really big monsters attacking each other. This is good. This is one of those games where I super enjoy bringing it out on the table. It has an excellent table presence. It's got those giant miniatures that can play with.
love the monsters.
Love the monster. It's got a lot of variability in each play because you can play with a deck that's more suited for Negotiation. You can play with a deck that's more suited for combat. You can play with a
Hmm.
deck that's sort of balanced. Um,
Yeah, I didn't realize that the decks have.
yeah, yeah. So like they have little symbols on the back of them, and you can choose what you want to play with because you play with the whole thing, right? You just
Hmm.
set it out as like a market.
Right.
Yeah. So like the teapot deck is more for like the negotiation theme. The
Got it.
one that has like a guy on the horse is more like we're gonna fight.
Okay. I
Yeah.
guess I didn't realize that. Interesting.
Yeah. So very classic kind of dudes on a map game, except all the combat is done at the very end of the round, and the combat is done through a very unique blind bidding mechanism where you bid on different powers of combat. You kind of reveal, and then you just go through each of the one. If I won this, I get to do that. If you won that, you get to do this. And then whoever wins the fight gets extra points. A lot of great things in this game. I love how simple each of the clan's powers are, but how different it makes them. Because at first blush, you might think, oh, this clan, all they can do is they can just move anywhere on the board. They don't have to they don't have to worry about borders. They can
Yeah.
move anywhere.
Yeah.
But that opens up a lot of stuff for them because every time they move, they can essentially pick up all of their units and put them wherever they want. Or you have the clan that's like, well, they don't have to choose one of the four actions they draw. They can choose anything they want and put the action face down, which
Hmm.
is nice. But then you think, oh, doing that actually takes an action out of the game, and there's only two of those each in the deck. So you can kind of craft what you make other people do by choosing an action that you want.
Mm.
So there's a lot of depth in how simple each of the different player powers are. That's
Yeah.
something I really enjoy about that game.
Not much to say. I like Blood Rage more than this one.
Yeah.
I think it's more. It's less variability, I think, for me. I don't know.
Sure. I think Blood Rage is a little more accessible, right?
Accessible, that's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you do a draft and then you move around the map a little bit. This one is a little bit more thoughtful placement of like what you have to do with your actions and whatnot, and
Yeah.
who you ally with every round is important.
And then what you're gonna put behind your little screen. Seppuku! Just
Yes,
kill all your guys.
the
And
bidding mechanism can really make or break people.
oh,
Because if
it's
you
the
bid
worst.
too much,
Yeah.
you end up giving all your money to the loser, and then they're gonna fight somebody, and you can set them up for a big win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what got me a lot. I was like, I want to
Mhm.
win.
But that's part of the
Whoops.
diplomacy too, because maybe you can win a fight by too much, so that you're helping out someone that did a favor for you, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm just not very good at negotiating, so
that's why
it's
you
me
love
versus the
Sidereal
world.
Confluence so
It's,
much.
it's me versus the world. If I can't win this combat, I'm gonna kill myself. So, good pick, good pick.
Hey, sometimes that's the right answer.
That is.
Uh, in Rising Sun, which is my number four.
Good job. My number three, you're probably gonna be surprised that it's dropped so low.
Hmm.
This is a game with a famous IP called Dune Imperium.
Yes, I thought this was your number one, honestly. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's fallen. It's fallen. I
Okay.
don't know if
What's
it's
it been
fallen
replaced
a
by?
little bit because I haven't played it as much, and a new expansion just came out, so I probably get to play that and
Yeah, that
rediscover
happens.
Dune Imperium.
Sure.
But it's also a couple other games have kind of filled in that spot too, and
I can definitely see
just
that.
a little bit better.
I can see that.
So yeah, Dune Imperium, really great game.
Regular or uprising?
Uh, I would say there's a place on the shelf for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about variability when we talk about Rising Sun.
Mm-hmm.
This is two separate games, but having completely, no, not completely, but little bit different player experiences. So
Hmm.
yeah, I feel like you can keep them both on the table on your shelf.
Sure.
Um, yeah, so much to say. I mean, this is what got me into the Dune universe. Deck building really got me. The worker placement really got me, and then the mini area control, fighting over the sands, is just so interesting. And people have a hard time feeling like I feel like I'm stuck. I can't do what I want to do, and to that I say, build a better deck. That's what you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's yeah, a lot of Dune Imperium is utilizing what you have, right? And doing a sort of a tactical decision of, well, okay, now this is what I've been given this turn. Let's see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then strategizing of what you purchase from that card row is super important as well.
Yep.
Yeah, because you might only see it once or twice in the whole game.
And that's it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a race to 10 points, and so some games are really quick. And some you have to kind of strategize around the battle because that's where your points are going to come from. There's like 4 or 5 on the board, and then the rest you just got to fight after. So you got to pick your battles, and you don't want to.
Yeah.
If you waste too many resources on the battle, then it puts you behind elsewhere. So
Yeah, this is a super great one. I really like in the past couple of years, more and more companies are doing more things with deck building.
yeah,
It's not just deck building and that's the game. This is deck building worker placement, or you can do like a deck building dungeon crawl or deck building boss battler, right?
mm-hmm,
And that's
mm-hmm.
yeah, this is definitely one of those. I mean, it's super neat, super fun.
Yeah. Same guys that made Clank,
Yep.
so I love Clank. This is even better. This is Dune Imperium or Uprising. Either or can be number 3.
All right.
There you go.
Excellent pick. Yeah, super good. I thought that'd be your number one. I'm excited to hear
That
about
you're
number one, number
excited.
two. Then yeah.
You would like to
Well,
know.
my number three. I'm not sure if you've played this or not. This is Deus.
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 Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I played this with you.
You've played this with
Oh,
me?
this is really
Okay.
good. I like it.
Yeah. So this is a engine building or tableau building
Oh yeah.
area control game. And essentially what you're doing it's card driven. So you play a card, you spend resources, you play a card, and you can build a building on this modular board. And these buildings do different things. Each building lets you take an action where you can spend gold to buy resources, or you can make moves on the board with your armies. But each building has a color associated with it, and if you build a building of the same color, you can activate all the color of buildings that you built of that color from the bottom up. So if you build a building that says, gain 2 wood, you gain 2 wood. The next building says you can sell wood for 5 gold each. So then I will gain 2 wood and then sell wood for 5 gold each. The next building says you can buy brick at a cost of 1 gold each. So then I gain 2 wood and I'll sell that wood for 5 gold each. Then I'll buy a bunch of brick, right?
Yeah.
And it compounds like that. And while you're worried about your own tableau, you're also trying to control as much area as possible on the main game board
Hmm.
and sort of protect the area that you have. This one's really neat. Um, it doesn't get a ton of love. I haven't seen, a ton of people play this one. But I love this idea because all the cards are, has multi-use cards.
Yeah.
I love tableau building. And this one is again the one that's very unique in its field and it's really just a deck of cards and kind of a couple tiles on the board. And with that, you have to, build your buildings and control your area. Another really simple one too. This one has a good cadence to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah, I mean this is like pre-deck building. It's like the tableau building, you're gaining a bunch of cards,
Hmm.
lining them up, triggering them all at once, and like you get to do a bunch of different things if you stack them correctly, and that's what I love about this.
Yeah, it's a super neat one. Yeah. Yeah. And then it also has a mechanism where you can well, I don't love my hand, so I'm just going to discard these cards. And whatever one's on top, I get a special action for that. If
Yeah.
it's blue, I can get a bunch of resources. If it's gold, I can get a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And then I can redraw my hand and say, okay, well now I can work with this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And something about the board too, like if you can move your guys on the board in different areas, and
Yeah,
there's
your armies
something
can move around.
scores
Yeah, there's like
differently.
barbarian camps, and if you surround them, you score them, and whoever has the most buildings around them takes them. You can move around your armies on the board to try and strategically score those camps. And there's a bit of player interaction too, where you can move your armies next to people and sort of attack them.
Hmm.
You can steal gold from them or steal victory points from them if you move your armies next to certain colors of players. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's definitely a neat one. If you enjoy tableau building and sort of midway Euros, definitely look this one up. I think you can find a copy in bargain bins all over the place.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All
That
right.
was my number three, Deus.
My number 2 just came out with a sequel. It's kind of taken over uh my life. No, it's Andromeda's Edge, aka Dwellings of Eldervale.
Big fan of this one,
This,
huh?
my God, it's
Wow.
so good.
Okay.
So, again, just like Dune Imperium
Mm,
and Uprising,
mm,
there is a space on the shelf for both of them. Dwellings is a fantasy version, and Andromeda's is like a space flight version.
mm,
Dwellings has this like open concept where you're just placing tiles and you can place them anywhere. Andromeda's has a board where you're placing them on the board. So that's a little bit different. It feels like Andromeda's fixed some of the things people didn't really like about Dwellings, such as the combat where you can roll one die and beat an army of guys if you roll a six and they don't roll a six.
mm.
And people didn't like that idea. But
But you can do that in
yeah.
Andromeda's Edge, can't you? If you roll a six, right?
Well, the targeting feature is new in this one where if you have like three guys, your targeting value is three and you have to re-roll
Oh, it lets
your
you
ones and
re-roll.
twos.
Okay, I
Yeah, it
see.
gives you free reroll.
I see.
Reroll. Um, yeah, super good. I like space, but I also like fantasy and what's really good about this is that it has a really good solo mode
Oh, does
and I
it?
really
Okay.
enjoyed it. Like
Hmm.
I enjoyed learning the game because the solo mode was fun. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't play enough solo games, but yeah, I liked my play of this one a lot. Um, it's pretty unique because it's worker placement,
yeah,
and then depending on what kind of worker you put there, you can do different actions. You can upgrade your workers, um, but it all has this sort of veneer of like space combat and space travel, and there's like space pirates that are out to get you.
yeah.
Um, really, really interesting one. Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
One of the Kickstarters came out for Dwellings really early on, and I didn't back it because I think it was a season of just everything was good coming out, and I was like, I gotta pick which ones I want and which ones I'm just gonna have to sit
Yeah,
this one out. And I decided in my mind I was not gonna buy Dwellings of Eldervale. And then I ended up with it 3 years later. And so
yeah.
yeah,
I see. I've never played Dwellings of Eldervale. I'm
okay.
interested in how they sort of compare. I'd like to probably get a play of that because I hear they're
Yeah.
pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do like a play Dwellings first and then Andromeda's all in one day
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
compare contrast. Because
Yeah.
once you like take a week off from it, you'll forget how they are actually played and
Maybe you will.
you have a feeling. Yeah. Short term memory. Huh? What happened? All right. Yeah, that's my number two. Dwellings of Eldervale and Andromeda's Edge. There you go.
Excellent pick. Yeah. Super good game. And again, you got to get the deluxe components for that one, right?
The Deluxe.
Deluxe. Cardboard standees, don't cut it.
Get out of here.
My number two is a sequel to a worker placement game. This one is from Minion Games. This is the Manhattan Project Energy Empire.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've not seen this in your bag.
No, have you played this?
Not played this.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this is a worker placement game at heart. The
Okay.
theme of the game is that it's a Cold War, and you're trying to develop the um, energy storage of your nation and energy production of your nation.
Okay.
Whether that's going to be kind of a coal powered thing, or whether you're going to try and do more clean energy or nuclear energy. Um, and you're trying to keep your environment clean as well.
Hmm.
You do that by building buildings, taking actions on the board, building power plants in the form of dice, and then every round you can roll those dice to create more energy, and more energy is going to let you activate more of the buildings that you've built. This one is a really clean design. It has a lot of very just clean elements to it where you want to take an action, you put a worker there. If someone else wants to take that action, they have to make a larger stack of workers because the workers are just tokens, right?
Huh.
So if you
Okay.
want to take another action there, you have to put a worker there and you have to stack underneath it energy. And as long as your stack is taller, you're good. So I can make a taller stack than you and I can take that action. If you want to take that action again, you just got to make a taller stack than me.
Oh
You
wow.
just have to keep making the tallest stack if that's a very valuable action you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you can focus on different tracks of buildings. There's government buildings, commercial buildings, and industrial buildings, and each one sort of does a different thing. You can focus on bringing your country to the UN and saying, hey, we're actually, we're the superpower, right? So you can move up this UN track, and that's going to, give you points at the end of the game.
Hmm.
Um,
Who
yeah.
designed this?
This is Tom Jolly, and
Baby Joe?
Luke Laurie.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know who designed Dwellings of Eldervale?
Uh, yeah, funny.
Funny,
Yeah,
right?
that's on there.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We were sort of discussing this slightly the other week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Um,
not had a chance to play this. I don't know. Nothing really caught my eye about this game, but I'm interested. Yeah.
yeah, this is another one that's sort of, I don't see it a ton everywhere. It's a little bit unassuming, but this is one where you play it and it will stick with you because, um, yeah, there's a lot of very clean, interesting design elements to it. There's not a ton of actions on the board, and the game is pretty quick too. It plays at a very quick pace, so quick in fact that a lot of people end up racing through, building a bunch of buildings, polluting their environment, and they go, "Oh, the game's gonna end in 3 turns.
Oh,
Time to clean up, clean up."
oh, shoot.
So they have to run their environment through the the Dyson air filter and
Wow.
get that pollution out of there as quick as they
Interesting.
can. Yeah. So it's a neat one. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You gotta try this one out. I'll bring it. We can play it sometime.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. That's my number two, The Manhattan
The
Project,
Manhattan.
Energy Empire. There's a really good expansion too.
Cool. Love it, love it. My number one. This is it. This
Here
is
we
it. It's
go.
number one.
Number one. Okay. I want to try and guess this one, but you got to give me a hint.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not very quiet about this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody who's asked, I always tell them this is my favorite game of all time.
Because I
It's
thought it was Dune Imperium.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is
Okay.
post-apocalyptic. There's a bunch of tracks. There's a board in the middle with there's Fallout style where there's a shelter in the middle and everyone's coming out of the shelter and exploring the world, populating the world and building buildings.
Populating the world, building buildings. It's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, yeah. But you wouldn't know that it's post-apocalyptic just by looking at the cover.
Okay. Who designed it?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh God, I don't know. I don't know. What is this
Yeah,
one?
this is called Revive.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
Revive. This is I don't know, this triggers scratches every itch, tickles every tickle. This is everything
Tickles
that
your
is
tickle.
me. This is my favorite game of all time. But there's tracks, there's you're playing cards and building a deck, buying new cards and adding to your deck,
Mm,
using the cards for multi-use cards. Hey,
yeah.
hey. Yeah, just everything about this game. I don't know. There's the searching and moving around a board and
Yeah.
placing buildings to move up tracks and
Has exploration. It has it's like a light deck builder.
yeah.
Um,
There's a tech tree which you can move up different sides. Bonuses here and there and everywhere all the way around.
your whole player board is like one big track too, if I remember correctly, right? Like it's
Right.
like kind of moving up this like spiraling track.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you plant a building next to different terrain types and then depending on how many terrain types you're touching, that's how many different tracks you move up.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, you can be super creative with your turns. Sometimes playing this game, with new people, it's like their second or third turn, they're already out of stuff. And they're like, well, I guess I just got to reset. And I'm like, well, just if you reset now, you're not going to experience the wonderfulness of this game. Like, you got to like be creative and like just use your resources because you'll get a lot more.
Okay.
You just wait out. Let me show you. You can do this, you can do
Mhm.
that, you can do this, and
But
then
does it have training wheels?
it, no, it doesn't have training wheels. Oh, well, actually it does.
Oh,
So
okay.
so it has this like mini campaign deck where it reveals more and more of the game.
Oh
And I
yeah,
haven't
it had
had
it
the
had an interesting thing like that
yeah.
in it. Yeah.
I've played like a handful of times and I still haven't unlocked all the stuff. You can just throw it in there, but yeah, it has like unique factions and each faction has a special power and unique way to like manipulate the land and manipulate your tracks and stuff like that. From what I've read, it just seems really cool and so I want to play this more and more and more, but
I think that
yeah.
campaign aspect ended up hurting this game more than
Right.
helping it. Because when it came out, that's what everyone said. They were like, "Oh, it's a campaign game." Well, it's not really a campaign game. It's like, well, it has elements of it, and it has boxes of cards you're not supposed to open.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you could open those, but but it's is a campaign, isn't a campaign.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I understand what you're saying is that you can just pop them open and use them and play them because it
yeah.
adds special powers and a couple more. Would you call them like mini expansions?
Expansion.
Sort of.
It's also kind of got that feeling where you have like the base game, and do you want to do the advanced rules?
Mm,
You can add all this other stuff, but then your rules teach is going to be from, you know, 15 to 20 minutes. Now it's going to be 25 to 30 minutes.
yeah.
Do you really want to do that?
Yeah, this is a good game. Yeah, yeah, I like this one. Yeah, you definitely sound like you've explored it a little more than I have,
Yeah.
but yeah, I liked my play. I like moving up those tracks, and it had a lot of interesting things where it has that exploration mechanism, and you're trying to flip those little pieces and see, oh, that's going to give me some extra resources on that
Mm.
specific spot. Yeah,
So that's my number one of all time, the pinnacle,
yeah,
the cream of the crop.
yeah. Looks it's a good looking game too. It's actually very attractive.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
decently pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. The cover especially, I don't know, the inside's a little bit more mechanical, but it's good. Yeah.
Number one, Revive.
Excellent pick. Excellent pick. My number one is a another Stonemaier game.
What?
I know, I know. This one is not the sequel to Scythe, but Scythe
It is
itself. It
Scythe.
is Scythe, yeah, this one is
It's
Scythe.
not Skeeth. It's not Skith.
Scythe. Scythe's another one.
God.
Or Sith.
Say it right, people.
Loving that came out. People were like, I'd never seen this word before. I'm like, yeah, I
Oh,
didn't realize it was such a mystifying term, scythe. Yeah.
yeah, my wife even, I have a whole story. I think I have a video of it. She's like, is it Skeeth, Skith, or Scythe? Do you even know? She's
Not
like,
none,
like
none of those.
trying to make me feel bad.
None of the above.
Like,
Yeah, that was really funny because when this game came out, it had a lot of fanfare, and that's yeah. You met a lot of people that were like, "Oh wow, you have a copy of Sith."
Sith. Oh my God.
Yes, I really like Scythe. That's an excellent game. This is an area control game at its heart. Um, in it, you are commanding a faction of people. This takes place in an alternate world, post World War One,
Hmm.
where World War One was fought with giant mechs that were made at an eponymous factory. And after the war, it left Europa, torn to pieces and with a little giant power vacuum. And the goal of the game is for you to fill that power vacuum by appealing to the proletariat masses, expanding your reach, trying to get as much money as possible, and then maybe even getting to the center of the factory and discovering the secrets that are left there.
Oh.
Yeah. So this one's a really interesting one. You are taking actions on your main player board. There's only 4 different spots you can go to, and every turn you just go to a different one. Take those actions, and whatever actions you take on your main board, they affect or on your player board, they affect the main board. Let you move around, produce resources, utilize those resources to build buildings, and then maybe even build big giant mechs, and then send those mechs into other people and fight them for those territory and those
Mhm.
resources. Yeah, this is a really neat one. It came out a while ago. This is one of the first Kickstarters I ever supported.
It was a Kickstarter.
It was a
I did
Kickstarter,
not
yeah.
know that
It
actually.
was the last Kickstarter that Stonemaier Games ever did.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your favorite faction?
Favorite faction. I super like the I forget what they're called. They're the white one with the bears, where when you go to an encounter token, you can do
Mhm.
2 of the encounters instead of just one.
Yeah.
And then I really like the yellow one because they can kind of fly around. They can kind of teleport from one side of the map to the other.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like super fast.
What player count do you suggest?
This one works well at a number of different player counts. So
7.
that's one it doesn't work well at. So it works well at 5 and it works well at 4, and I like it at 3 as well. I've played a couple of games at 2. 2 works best with the modular expansion, the modular board expansion that came
Right.
out
You make it
because you
smaller.
can shrink the board a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what I would do if it was at 2, and then I wouldn't play with more than 5. It has a little excerpt in the rule book in the expansion that says, now that there's 7 factions, you could theoretically play with 7 players. We don't recommend this. And
Yeah.
I appreciate how they wrote that in there. We do not recommend playing with 6 or 7 players.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. It's a little too many. But yeah, this is another really good one. So you can tell a lot of stories with this one, and it's fun getting those mechs out on the table. Each faction kind of starts very similar with one special power,
Hmm.
and then as you build more and more mechs and become more and more advanced, your faction becomes more and more different, and you get more and more special powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've played this.
I've played a ton of this. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
play at least 5 times.
at
Really.
least, yeah, yeah. I
That's
played
a
it.
ton to me.
Yeah, I've played this a ton when it came out. I have all the upgrades for it. I have all the expansions. I played the
Deluxe
expansions,
resources.
most of them. The airships are pretty nice. I play with those sometimes.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
little airships you can fly around, and they have different special powers depending on where they are on the map. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot going on in this one. Um, this is just one of the ones where every time I set this one up and play it, it just feels like coming home. It's very comforting. Um, you kind of feel like you're piloting a mech when you're taking those actions. Okay, build the thing, put the resources out.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. I like this one a lot.
I knew this was your number one.
Well, yeah, yeah, I think
That's
most
the
people
only
that
one I
know
probably
me.
knew.
Well, I knew City of Confluence was going to be on your list. I
Yeah.
didn't know where, and I knew Dune Imperium because I hadn't heard that one yet. I thought it was going to be number one,
Hmm.
and then I've heard you talk a ton about Story of Civilizations. What's that one called?
Yeah. Through the
Through
Ages.
the Ages, yeah.
Okay.
So I was not surprised when that was
Okay.
on your list. There's a couple though that I don't know. I guess you're not as vocal about, like Federation. I didn't know you liked that one as
It's
much.
really hard to get to the table. I think the concept is like people are just a little bit too scared.
It
I get the oh, I'm not really up for thinking that much tonight.
Federation does have that interesting thing where you look at the front of the box
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh, cool! Wow, look at all the alien races," and it looks like the scene from Star Wars. And you flip it over, and it's like, "Oh, that's a lot
Yeah.
of tracks and cards and."
Colors. So that is the top 10 of mine and Jake's list.
Top 10, yeah. I mean that's the cream of the crop right
That
there.
was it.
Yep, it
That was
rises to the top.
the best of the best. So if you see us on Friday, let us know what you guys think of our list. And in the comments below, what are we asking them this time?
Tell us what you think about our lists. Is there anything that you were surprised about? Anything that you think that we were wrong about? Because, there's a couple I think that you were definitely wrong about.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, yeah. Let us know who's more wrong.
Let us know who's more incorrect. Yeah.
Next, I believe we will be in Dice Tower. Dice Tower West, Vegas, baby. Let's do it.
Ooh,
Let's do it.
yeah.
If yeah, you watch this video, you see us around, we'll be around. We're probably taking 10, 15 people with us. We're rolling
A
deep.
lot, yeah.
We're
We're
rolling
actually
deep.
quite a few. Yeah.
Also going to be demoing games, so
And we're all
catch
sleeping in
us
the same room.
every single on top of each other, like
Cordwood,
so-
yeah, just stacked.
but yeah, we'll be there. So taking a little break from work and life and all that stuff. We'll be happily playing tons and tons of
Yeah,
board games.
I'm sure we'll be recording a couple shorts
Yeah.
there or something, right?
Yeah, ask us to show you how to play one of these games if
Oh
you
my
run
God.
into
Oh,
us. That'd
wow.
be
Yeah,
fun.
I would love to play
I would not mind playing Revive. Hit me up for Revive.
for Revive. Yeah. We should play each other's top 10 games, except the ones that we don't want to.
Yeah, thanks for watching the video. If you do like this content, make sure to subscribe, like, comment. It really encourages us to keep making videos and keep up this shtick that we got going on. And yeah, if you're in Sacramento, come out to Great Escape Games.
Let's wrap it up, boyo.
All right, man. This is Richard.
And I'm Jake.
We're the missing component.
Peace.
I just sold
Subscribe.
blanked.